Upstream of Vienna, following the course of the Danube River some 60 miles through the rolling Austrian hills, sits the quiet village of Willendorf. It was here, entombed in a Loess deposit of sediment, that a discovery reshaped our understanding of humanity's shared past.
How deeply can we look into the mirror of time and recognize the face looking back? 500 years? 2,000 years? What is absolutely remarkable about this tiny little thing, this little figure, that one could almost overlook entirely, is that it stares back at us from a distance of 30,000 years.
Fine arts illuminate our present and explicate our past. SCAD professors teach brilliant young creators every day. And in this series, we reveal the works that most inspire our experts. This is SCADclass.
Today we encounter one of the oldest known objects of art ever made by human hands, the mysterious Woman of Willendorf. Joining me on this trip to the Stone Age is SCAD Professor of Art History, Chris Neal.
So what you're looking at is called the Woman of Willendorf. As far as is known now, it's one of the oldest depictions of a human figure ever found. And it's thought that this was carved around 29,000 before the Common Era. We see a figure that we don't have any facial features. She has large breasts and a pregnant belly. Her arms are bent at the elbows and they rest on top of her breasts. And it's hard to see because it's very subtle. She's got bracelets. It's about 4¼ inches. Mm-hmm. It's got a very nice weight to it, and you want to hold it in your hand.
Yes.
So it's carved out of what was called Paleolithic limestone, which is kind of important to the story of this work, and I'll circle back around to that. So carved using what's called the subtractive method. That's the math portion of art history. To remove the material.
Napping, right?
Napping to get the big pieces, and probably an antler tip to do the fine work. It's really delicately carved.
It's beautiful.
Researchers have determined that it was originally covered in ochre pigment, traces of which can still be seen in the recesses and in the folds of her body.
When was this found and where?
It was found in 1908 on the left bank of the Danube River in Austria. It was recovered from an archaeological dig at a Paleolithic site near the town of Willendorf. This is one of maybe 200 figures that archaeologists have found dating from about this time period, the Old Stone Age or the Paleolithic. These statuettes are found across Europe, which, as we'll discover, raises all manner of questions.
How can researchers determine the age without having anything to carbon date?
You can't do radiocarbon dating. So this has been figured out through relative dating. It's the layers, the stratum, I think is what they call it, the layers that help date. The other objects on the same level as the figure were able to be dated
of that era
to about 29,000 BCE. And then by comparing the Woman of Willendorf to other objects and figures with their relative and known dates, a timeline begins to emerge. It's just such a small thing, but it has such a monumentality to it. Something small like this tells us so much about the people of the time period.
Yes.
In this one small figure, there's mystery, there's humanity, there's a story of a woman's life.
Through these artifacts, we know a lot.
Exactly, but there are a far greater number of unknowns that the piece forces us to consider in its details. The bracelets, for example.
I didn't notice that before.
Yes.
Thank you for pointing that out.
They're very subtle. So is that jewelry as we think of it? Is it good luck? Was it a form of currency? We don't know. We can speculate on archaeological evidence and conjecture, but what is so special about the Woman of Willendorf is that we can't really know. The distance in time is too great.
So then we're left to play detective, art detective.
Yes, exactly. That's the essence of the humanity that this, I think, represents. We are asked to rediscover ourselves in deciphering her world.
Well, I'm fascinated by the whole Paleolithic era. What can we deduce about the lifestyle of Paleolithic people from an artifact such as this?
The Paleolithic era went from about 40,000 to 9,000 before the Common Era. They have fire. That's known because there are torch marks in caves. No domestication of animals, no agriculture, no permanent settlements. They were migratory, moving place to place where they could find food, foraging and following the animals and so forth.
Yes.
Europe in the Upper Paleolithic looks very different from what we see today. The planet was experiencing a glacial period known as the last glacial maximum, what we commonly call an ice age. All of this is occurring on geological time, of course, but amid these changes, you also have the advent of modern man, the fully realized Homo sapiens. We tend to think that the Paleolithic people did not have the skills that we have. But they did. They had different skills from what we have, but no less.
Well, surviving was tough then.
Exactly, they made it. We're the proof that they made it, exactly.
And the humans were in the minorities. There were vast amounts of animals, and some of them much larger than the animals of today, the mastodons, and weren't the lions bigger than today?
Oh, yes, I think so. Large mammals, mammoths and aurochs, woolly rhino, as well as cave lions and cave bears, those kind of predators in France, which we don't usually think about. It's not until the agricultural revolution that humans become apex predators. In this time period, it was a dangerous world.
Yes.
Any kind of magic that you could draw on was going to benefit you. And so here we get into the idea of art versus artifact. Art being an object of emotional expression, artifact being an object of utilitarian purpose. And I suppose you can make a case for the Woman of Willendorf having a utilitarian purpose, but the sensitivity of the carving, the time it took, even the attempt to convey human form, it all points to art over artifact. That represents very abstract and complex thinking.
Yes.
They're not sort of the dullards that maybe they've been assumed to be. They had rudimentary tools, but what they could do with those tools reveal the earliest examples of truly human expression.
And what I think is so remarkable about this is that intimacy quality.
Yes.
Somebody owned that.
Yes.
And
Doesn't that just gives you chills to think about that long ago? This was someone's treasured object.
Exactly. I'm glad you said chills because I'm getting chills right now.
Yeah.
We think that there's this chasm from 2025, and how can we possibly relate to the people of the old Stone Age? And
We can relate.
that chasm has just evaporated
Yes.
when we find things like this. One of the things that I think is so interesting about this is the size. It fits so perfectly in your hand.
Ergonomically correct, isn't
It's
it?
pleasing to hold,
It really
isn't it?
is, yes. This would have been perfect to just pick up and take with you easily.
Exactly. portability. And I think that because it's so small, it's probably a personal possession. Because when we get into later time periods, the bigger statues were gods and goddesses to be worshipped. This doesn't invite that. This invites, this is mine. I want to hold this in my hand. What other clues can we look for to help support this idea? Well, she does not have feet, and those were never there. That's where the stone ends. And so again, that could be that she was not meant to be standing vertically. She was meant to be carried in the hand on the person who possessed it. I like to think of this as a woman's personal possession. In this time period, maternal mortality and infant mortality were high. A pregnancy
It's a dangerous thing.
Exactly, yes. It was a cause of celebration, but I'm sure there was a great deal of fear of, will I have a healthy delivery? Will my baby make it through? Will I make it through? So I would think that you want every source of good luck, good
vibes.
magic, good vibes, exactly, that you can bring, that you can get. This might be that sort of a way of envisioning a healthy pregnancy.
Manifestation.
Manifestation, manifest your dream. You see her belly button.
Yes.
Archaeologists have been able to confirm that that's a naturally occurring pit in the stone. So can't you just imagine somebody walking along and there's kind of a rounded shape and the belly button happens to be just at the right place?
And they create the rest of
I think
the
so.
statue
I think that's certainly
around the belly button.
Yeah, right. Circle around the belly button. And you can see that there are other pits
Yes.
throughout the stone, which don't really detract from it.
No.
This stone that the woman from Willendorf is made from is not stone that is found in the area of Willendorf.
Oh, that's so interesting. That tells us something about their life.
Yes, you were asking, what can we infer? They were traveling. Since they had to follow their food source, they're moving. So can that be that this figure was made by someone in one place and brought to where it was found? Was it an exchange between two different groups of people? The person who made this, that's not the first one that they've done. No. You can just tell from...
It's not an experiment.
Exactly. Was it something that a person with really good skills could manufacture a lot and then barter with them? That part is not known.
But the stone is not native to the place that it was found.
Exactly. It also tells us that this was a treasured object.
Yes.
They wanted it. It wasn't just sort of a doodle and throw it away. Now, one of the things that's, I think, especially interesting about the woman from Willendorf is that none of the other figures like this that have been found, they're not carved out of this Oolithic limestone. They're carved out of other things.
Oh, interesting.
Most commonly bone, ivory, things of that nature.
And what about the figure's head? What can we learn there?
Interesting that the figure has no face. There are theories that perhaps the face was painted on, but we don't know. The headwear, the hat, or the hairstyle, there's debate about what that is.
Yes, what's your belief?
You know, I go back and forth. This is the young prince, and this is a Paleolithic burial of a young man from a cave in Italy. And there you can see some kind of a headdress. Now, that is clearly shells, and also deer canines. That's not hair at all. And it sort of replicates the hairstyle on the woman from Willendorf.
Very similar.
And so could it be also some sort of a hat, a headdress, some kind of adornment? I don't know that we'll ever know that for sure, But what we do know from things that we can see is that there are 7 concentric circles
Yes.
on this. And there was an archaeologist who did a study going around the globe, and he asked people what their favorite number was. What's your lucky number? And overwhelmingly, it was 7. So, is that a continuity that has come forward? There's kind of a floral design on the top, kind of a floral swirl. Just that little bit of extra
Attention.
beauty. Yes, attention to your hair. And when I share this with the students in the intro class, I ask them to think about if this is braided hair,
Yes.
if you can braid hair, what else can you braid? Plant fibers.
Yes.
To make rope,
Yes.
to weave baskets and backpacks.
Yes.
That you carry this in.
Yes.
So not a lot of details, but the few we have tell us quite a bit. It was probably used in different ways, in different times, in different areas. Back in the olden days, when I was in school, this was called the Venus of Willendorf. Now, art history being more global, we're getting away from the Western references. And of course, the association with the Roman goddess Venus is completely out of place here. Not only has the name of it changed, but it had been thought to have been done by a man. It was just assumed.
Assumed it was a man.
Exactly. When you say artist, you assume man. And we know that that is so not the case. So if 21st century men and women both make art, can we conjecture that maybe in 29,000 before the Common Era that men and women both made art? And I think that there's a case for both. A recent analysis of Paleolithic handprints made in caves in Western Europe has revealed that the overwhelming majority of them were made by women. 75% were by women. By women. So women were making art. There is a tendency now for scholars to think that the particular woman from Willendorf was carved by a woman. But she's not the only one.
There are some others.
Exactly. They are so much the same. These are scattered across Europe. Well, you could also make the case that men made them for their partners. A good luck, something for you to hold, think of me, and I hope this goes well, and all of those things.
Could be.
Yeah, and I think it's probably all of those at different times for different people. But this one in particular, the Woman of Willendorf, is believed to have been made by a woman. Maybe for a daughter, maybe for a sister, maybe for yourself. And the reason that scholars think that is because of the perspective of looking down rather than a male gaze. Focusing, looking straight on, where things would be in proportion and probably with feet. She wouldn't be able to see her feet.
No.
This theory of the Woman of Willendorf as a self-portrait was first presented in a research paper where they compared the vantage points that a 5-month pregnant woman would have of her own body against the same perspectives on the Woman of Willendorf. And the similarities are striking. There's that telescoping effect where at the bottom, her calf seems attenuated.
Yes.
One of the details that I particularly like is the back of the knees.
Ah, yes.
It's so sensitively, exquisitely carved.
Yes, it is.
So I think that's a very good case that this was made by a woman. The emphasis is on the fertility, on pregnancy, on childbearing, on birth, on life.
It was also colored with ochre.
Yes, red ochre, that deep red color, which has all sorts of associations. You can have a couple of variations on the shade of ochre. It could be dried out or heated to get different variations on that shade. It is a naturally occurring pigment.
Yes, the town of Roussillon near our campus in Lacoste is famous for its ochre hills.
That's right. It comes in more yellow or more red. And going back to our young prince, that entire gravesite was prepared with a layer of red ochre. So clearly an association in the Paleolithic with life and birth and humanity and so forth. Talk about a continuum. Ochre actually is a material that is used in the Renaissance. Leonardo da Vinci, his
Yes,
self-portrait, it's thought.
famously, yes.
Yeah, with the red ochre. This is a work by Vermeer, and that whole brick building is red ochre and still used by our students. So yet another connection from the artists of the past to our artists in the present, male and female. Again, when I was in school, it was just assumed, oh, well, men make art and women, you know, sit around. But everybody had a desire to express themselves. The universality of the human form, of the desire to paint your portrait or show yourself or leave your mark, I think reveals so much about those people, and in turn then reveals a lot about us. That yes, society has changed, we've changed, but in some ways, you know, the life affirming, the life will go on, the continuation of generations into the future. That's a universal, not just in Western Europe, but all over.
And thank goodness they created these artifacts that we still have. What about the cave paintings that are of the same era? What else do we know about the lives of people based on the other art that is extant today?
Yeah, that's a great question. The caves where there's art seem not to have been the caves that the people lived in. So these were special caves, and they weren't special to just one generation. They continued to come back to these caves.
That's interesting.
For thousands of years. It was an important part of their culture. We don't know why, but we know that it was important to them. And I think that's really powerful. Archaeologists have been able to identify something kind of like this, of magic rocks, they think, that's what they're calling them, thrown at a wall that has a rendering of an animal. And they can see that there are indentations where the rocks hit the wall. And those rocks were covered with red ochre pigment. Was this a ritual to ensure a good hunt? Could it be a form of storytelling? This could be, again, a manifesting of desired outcomes. In Lascaux and Chauvet Cave, the animal renderings are matched to the undulations and projections of the cave wall.
So beautiful.
Yeah, and kind of mixed media, three-dimensional in that way.
Yes. Some of these paintings actually presage the whole development of animation.
Oh, absolutely.
They show movement, don't they?
Yes, exactly. The way that a bison was painted over an undulating part. There are paintings that have, it's called the flying gallop, where forelegs and back legs are splayed out. Yes, that is motion graphics, it's animation, it's film, it's capturing these animals in motion. And it's brilliant in the same way that the SCAD students have all these technical tools, but it's the same idea. Into the caves, there are torch marks. So obviously they had to go in with fire to be able to see. Scholars also think that perhaps they used the movement of the light to create kind of a feeling of animation, as if their animals are moving, to create lighting effects. They had music at this time. Archaeologists have found a flute. They had rich, full lives.
Yes.
We are them, and they are us. It's astonishing to think about that.
Beautiful. And they must have told stories. They must have looked up at the skies and had some of the same dreams that we have today.
Absolutely. The arc of humanity is endlessly fascinating.
As are you. Thank you so much. Our students are so lucky to learn from you.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, President Wallace.
Thank you.